What if I told you that Israel's war in Gaza could ignite an even bigger confrontation, one that drags in Iran directly? That's the warning from defense expert Lieutenant Colonel Yaron Buskila, who says Tehran is preparing further attacks as Israel presses forward in Gaza City. According to Buskila, Iran's leadership sees involvement not as a choice, but as their ideological mission. He warns that Iran may target Jewish sites abroad, unleash attacks through proxies like the Houthis in Yemen, and even escalate missile strikes. This is not just about Gaza. It's about a much larger chessboard where Tehran is the hidden hand moving the pieces. The question is, how far will Israel go in confronting Iran directly? And could a strike on Iranian soil be closer than anyone thinks? Buskila made it clear. Israel has struck Iran's nuclear program hard in the past, but the threat remains alive. He explained that while Israel inflicted significant damage, Tehran's missile program is still intact, and its proxies across the region remain highly capable. He specifically pointed to a Yemeni missile with a split warhead, describing it as, without a doubt, Iranian knowledge and guidance. That's why he believes the so-called Iranian story is far from over. And here's where the stakes get higher. Every missile fired from Yemen should not be seen as a Houthi attack. He says it should be recognized as an attack directed by Iran itself, which raises the pressing question: should Israel be striking not just Gaza, not just Yemen, but Tehran directly? Now imagine this. Every rocket that falls on Israeli soil, every drone launched toward its cities, seen not as isolated acts of terror, but as Tehran's fingerprints in action. That's exactly what Buskila argues. He stresses that Israel must treat every Houthi strike as an Iranian strike. This means a bold response, hitting back not only in Yemen but also in Iran itself. And here's the chilling part. He believes that until Israel dismantles Iran's missile launch capabilities, the danger will persist. That means future escalations could be inevitable. And as Gaza burns, the question becomes, can Israel afford to open a second front directly with Iran? Or is that exactly what Tehran wants? Buskila's warning isn't just military, it's strategic. He argues that Iran is playing a long game, waiting for the right moment to bleed Israel through multiple fronts. But Israel faces its own dilemma. When is the right time to strike back? According to Buskila, timing will be everything. Right now, Israel is focused on Gaza, but sooner or later, the war could shift eastward, toward Iran itself. And here's a thought. Could delaying too long give Tehran the upper hand? Could waiting give Iran time to rebuild, rearm, and redirect even deadlier attacks through its proxies? Think about this. Iran has already suffered huge economic and governmental damage from Israel's past strikes. But rather than retreating, Tehran has doubled down, pouring resources into missile technology and proxy forces. This is why Buskila insists Israel must not only continue targeting Gaza, but also prepare for a decisive strike on Iranian leadership. He warns that only a combination of attacks on Yemen, on Iranian bases, and on its missile systems can neutralize the long-term danger. Otherwise, every so-called victory in Gaza may simply set the stage for a bigger and bloodier war waiting down the road. And here's the critical hook. What if Israel's current Gaza operation is not the real war, but just the prelude? Buskila says that after Gaza, Israel will have no choice but to face Iran head-on. He calls it necessary and unavoidable. Imagine a scenario where Israel, fresh from battle in Gaza, suddenly pivots to launch strikes deep inside Iran, at its missile factories, at its command centers, perhaps even at nuclear sites. Such a move would escalate the conflict to an entirely new level, one that could shake the entire Middle East and potentially draw in global powers. The deeper question here is not just military, but existential. For Tehran, Baskila explains, targeting Israel is not simply strategy, it's ideology, the very reason for their regime's existence. That means Iran won't stop, no matter the setbacks. And for Israel, allowing Iran to keep building missiles and empowering proxies may be too big a risk. Sooner or later, as Baskila warns, confrontation becomes not just an option, but a matter of survival. And here's the hook. What happens when two powers, locked in ideological conflict, both believe they cannot afford to back down? So as Israel pushes deeper into Gaza City, the shadow of Tehran looms larger than ever. Baskila's warning is crystal clear. The Iranian story is not over. It's only beginning. Strikes in Gaza may weaken Hamas. Strikes in Yemen may target the Houthis. But unless Iran itself is confronted, the cycle will continue. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. When the dust settles in Gaza, will Israel turn its eyes toward Tehran? And if it does, will the region brace itself for an even greater war, one that could redefine the future of the Middle East?